Hand left a bit, George. Yes. Lose the column. Fine. No, that's okay, Jeff. Plenty. Can you get tighter, Mick? Fine. Now the speaker's rostrum. Right, I'll buy that. Roll Telecine. 5, 4, 3. Cue music. Super 5. Where's the bloody music? Okay. Caption late. Lose music. Right. All we need now is a few bodies and we're away. Thanks, chaps.
You seem to have got it into your head that the Labour Party annual conference has been especially convened to hear whether the Prime Minister is or is not about to call a general election.
Yes, but surely, Mrs. Schooler, as a member of the National Executive, you're aware of the intense speculation.
As a member of the NEC, I'm here in Blackpool along with over 1,000 grassroots delegates to hammer out house policy for the coming year.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Schooler.
Hello, Alf.
We take a break now. Join us in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
for
come on
the
up.
Northwest at the weekend. Crisis? What crisis? Take a tip.
It's 27.
Get away from it.
Hang on.
Rule the waves with Waverley.
Oh, that's half an hour, yeah. Uh-huh. Hello.
Hello. I'm agent downstairs. We're here too.
Oh, come in. What are you up to? Fancy a beer?
No, I've got to see some of the lads. Go on. We've got this demo Tuesday. Textile Workers Action Committee, I mean.
Yeah, I heard. It's time for Watson's arrival at the hall, right?
Right. We thought he might join us.
What time Tuesday?
11 outside the main entrance.
All right. I'm the CLP delegate, but should be able to manage it.
I saw the legal resolution and the final agenda.
Yeah?
Your idea?
Not really. Came up through the party. I approve it, though.
Will it be called, you know?
Something will be called. I'm due at a compositing meeting in half an hour, along with your union delegate.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Brother, I am mandated. There's no way I can
brother,
drop...
we've been doing some thinking too. There's no future for textiles under private capital. None whatever. The union, not surprisingly, believes differently, which is why they stick to quote reductions. We favour your resolution. I'm here to get you to push it, not to drop it.
Come in, Alf.
Right, I'll be off. Good luck with it.
Fine. Let me know if there's anything in the pipeline.
See you Tuesday.
What's Tuesday?
They've called a demonstration. They'll be lobbying the PM when he arrives at the Winter Garden.
I better get there early. There's likely to be a queue. You joining them?
Of course.
No trouble with the credentials?
No. Oh, they'd had your letter about Frank being ill.
And you're clear about the resolution?
Perfectly.
There'll be pressure, especially with the unions in there. For God's sake, don't go alienating the other delegates.
All right, Alf. It's a promise. Anything up, Alf?
Up? No. Never liked Blackpool. It's like Toy Town.
What time are the agents meeting then?
5. It's been put back.
You'll let us know how it goes, won't you?
Tell us now, don't worry. It's got 2 delegates. Fact is, Watson doesn't know what the hell to do.
He'll think of something.
Oh, yeah, he'll do that.
A bigger majority would free his hands. Prisoner of the left and that.
Or he could simply retire, make way for someone else to start with a clean slate.
The government of national unity, you mean?
Our leader is, without doubt, the littlest Englander of them all.
Brand? Sure. It's David Last. David, how are you? Oh, fine. Tuesday? Yeah, sounds good. Where? Imperial? Uh-huh. About 8? Okay, thank you. I see. Well, I'll leave it to you. No, I'm game. Well, whatever you say. I'll probably see you tomorrow anyway. Okay, thanks again. Goodbye.
Don't forget this.
Oh, thanks. I've just been invited to the last hotel. Private supper, Tuesday evening.
That's nice.
Along with 1 or 2 cabinet ministers, the General Secretary of the party, the General Secretary of the Transport and Allies, and the Right Honourable Arthur Watson, Prime Minister of this parish and Wizard of the Realm.
I hope the food's good.
You think I'm being groomed for office?
Groomed or gelded. I'll talk to you later.
Any way you like, Mr. Brand. We're one short.
Jerry Garner, Saddle. Wilf Bowers sends his regards.
How are you?
How do?
Lane, Sawdale, how do you do?
How do you do?
Sorry, had a delegation meeting.
Thank you, that's fine. Well, good afternoon. My name's Morgan of the Conference Arrangements Committee, and I'll be chairing this meeting. This is Mr. Pegram, the West Midlands organizer, who will act as secretary. Now, as you know, there are 7 resolutions tabled on textiles for the industry debate on Wednesday. Bearing in mind the pressures on conference time, my committee wants to see whether you can't agree to arrive at a single composite resolution embodying the substance, if not the detail, of the 7. So that's what we're here to do. I should point out that if such a composite were to be worked out, it would pretty well automatically be called. But no such guarantee exists for separate resolutions falling outside such a composite. But the choice is entirely yours. I want to emphasize that. I'm not here to influence you one way or the other. Now, any suggestions?
Point of order, Chairman. I had the understanding that the Lely resolution was to be brought by Councillor Frank Hilton.
Mr. Brand's credentials are in order, Mr. Parfitt. Councillor Hilton has been taken ill. Mr. Brand replaces.
Well, it seems to me there's 2 alternatives.
Would you mind identifying yourself just so we all know who we are?
Garner, Saddle Constituency Labour Party, Resolution 181. I think our resolution could go either way. I mean, there's quotas and there's public ownership. Of course, we'd like action on both, but...
I think that'd go for us, too. Lane, Sawdale CLP, Resolution 182.
Parfitt, Textile Workers Union, Resolution 184, representing 60,000 affiliated union members. Now let me tell you, my executive, on behalf of those members all working in the industry under discussion, have given this resolution very serious thought. The battle lines are very clearly drawn. The issue is not whether to take the textile industry into public ownership, because even assuming the government were willing and able to do so, it'd take the best part of a year to get it through Parliament, during which time there'll be no textile industry left to take over. Now, those are the facts. The issue, the only issue, is how we can safeguard our members' jobs and secure their livelihoods, and the answer is and will remain by getting conference to instruct the government to impose temporary reduction on the imports of unprocessed and semi-processed fibres, i.e. to create a bulwark against unfair foreign competition until such time as the textile industry can defend itself once again in world markets. Now, that is the union's position, and I believe it behoves this gathering to pay it attention and respect.
Mr. Brand?
Okay, roll Tilly-Cine. 5, 4, 3. Cue music. Super caption. Caption. Shit. Do you have some music for us, Peter? All right, when you're ready.
If you say so, do it. you. Yes.
Sorry it took so long.
Can we go on, gentlemen?
Had to walk miles.
All right. I'm prepared to consider a wording that would avoid direct criticism of the government's record to date.
Well, that's a good half of the battle as far as I'm concerned.
What's going on?
Aye, that throws a new light on things. I reckon I'd support most of what's left in the Lely resolution. That gone.
Yeah.
And quotas? Lely's makes no mention, yours does.
Oh, that's true.
What about that?
Look, this thing's very, very simple. Either Mr. Parfitt must accept the idea of public ownership, or the rest of you must agree reference to quota reduction, or there's no composite. Now, what's it to be?
I'd accept reference to quotas if it didn't crucially contradict the basic thinking behind the demand for public ownership, as I've already explained, at least to the satisfaction of my CLP colleagues. Reducing import quotas for 6 months would offer just enough protection to fatten the industry up for its next recession. Besides, there's not a cat in hell's chance of getting the Cabinet to go any further on quotas. There's GATT, there's the MFA, there's the EEC.
What chance is there of getting them to nationalise, eh? Where have you been living? On the moon? Look, I think you two had better think again. Look, I'm quite prepared to accept some request for public ownership somewhere, providing quotas are the main thrust of the resolution. And I'm not trucking with this Lely wording. It won't stand a chance with the national executive, let alone the government. I mean, you might have some amateur interest in these matters, but as far as I'm concerned, it's my living, right?
Mine too, brother. I've worked in mills since I was 15.
Well, then you should know enough to see the sense in it.
Maybe.
What about you?
I think we can find something in the Lely resolution. I think all of us can.
I've taken advice and I propose withdrawing from this compositing meeting. The Textile Workers' Resolution will stand. Under the circumstances, I must ask you to see that it's called.
Well, as I said at the outset, Mr. Parfitt...
Nevertheless, Mr. Morgan, nevertheless, my General Secretary will have something very unpleasant to say if his union's denied a voice in this conference. And as for this composite you propose lashing together, you can take it that my union and others will oppose.
Always like Brother Parfitt. Salt of the earth.
Okay. What about something like this? This conference deplores the indifference shown by the Labour government... Yeah. Okay. This conference... No, thank you. Demands the following socialist policies be implemented by the Labour government to secure the future of a textile industry currently losing upwards of 500 jobs a month. 1. Immediate nationalisation of the industry, under full workers' control, complete access to information, and minimum compensation to shareholders. 2. The immediate short-term strengthening of procedures aimed at ending the practice of dumping of goods on the home market. 3. The securing of long-term fibre agreements with the countries of the developing world and the replacing of exploitative with genuinely reciprocal and mutually beneficial trade arrangements. 4. The immediate release of finance via the National Enterprise Board to enable these policies to be implemented. Not great literature exactly, but it might do.
Can we have a look?
Sound all right?
At 6:45 on the eve of a conference, Shakespeare himself couldn't have sounded sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Any of that beer left?
Hope so.
You want one?
No, thanks. Just have my cocoa.
Take the rest, if you don't mind.
Be my guest.
Let you have them back.
How was the meeting?
Oh, yeah. not spectacularly informative. Options were explored. Yours?
No problem.
Good, good. Nice, get an easy one first time. It can be sticky. Done a fair few in my time.
What about some coffee?
Know what? 20 years ago I came here, Blackpool, my first conference, and I stopped here, this place. I always stopped here. It's cheap, it's clean, it's 7, 8 times. Know what? I'm in the same room I had the first time I came, 56. I remember because it was the same as the year, you see, 56. Helped me remember my room number when I went to ask for my key at the desk. And what have we done, eh? What have we actually done, this great party of ours? Come on, teacher, what have we achieved, hmm? Ever met my kids, Bill? Oh, me neither. Off I'd go and up they'd grow. And the wife. You love the wife. I did. Kindest to strangers. So, what have we achieved, eh? 20 years of struggling and arguing and wheedling and bullying and hustling and chiseling and promising and welching and offering and not delivering. Jesus Christ. Same sodding room, Bill, and you credit it. Do they know a thing or two?
Mac pocket.
Oh. How was your thing?
It's fine, no problem.
Good. Get an easy one first time. They can be a bugger.
Ten seconds. 9, 8, 7. Roll telecine. 5, 4, 3. Cue music. Super caption. And wait for it. And cue Robert.
Good morning from Blackpool. At this, the 76th annual conference of the Labour Party, where in 4 or 5 minutes' time, the delegates will have assembled, the leadership will have taken the platform, and the proceedings will be underway. A conference which many people more percipient and expert than myself feel may well be as dramatic and as historic an event as any that we've seen in recent years. Jim, what are the things to watch out for here in Blackpool this week?
Well, it's a fascinating prospect, though by no means unique in the long and often torrid history of Labour Party conferences. It's anybody's guess what will happen, but already the battle lines are well and truly drawn, with all the signs of yet another contest of strength between conference and government, as to who shall be the decisive voice in the shaping of policy for the country as a whole. That's nothing new, of course, but all the signs are that the fragile truce established at last year's conference is in danger of cracking wide open by the end of this week. Now, of course, a key figure in all this is likely to be Willie Moore's General Secretary of the powerful Transport and Allied Workers Union, who later in the week is expected to move a wide-ranging resolution critical of the government's economic and social policies and calling for immediate and massive cuts in defence spending,
coupled with a phased withdrawal from NATO, no less. If it is carried, it could set a rather large wedge between the government and some of its more committed supporters, which is unlikely to please a Labour Prime Minister contemplating, if indeed he is, and the evidence is less than overwhelming on this point, but if he is, as I say, contemplating a snap election sometime during the autumn.
You'll get the chance, I know, to continue that speculation, Jim. Meanwhile, conference is about to begin. One thing I imagine you'd agree with me on, Jim, and it's this. Whatever else is likely to go on in Blackpool this week, in caucuses and fringe meetings, in bars and hotel rooms round the town, it is here, on the floor of conference, that the final decisions will be taken.
Well, yes, of course, Bob. The Labour Party's always prided itself on being a democratic party. And I must say its record has, on the whole, been rather good in this area.
Say when?
It's fine.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Glad you could come.
Glad to be asked.
I'll introduce you to the others in a minute. You'll know some of them. Ah, you know Winnie.
Mm. We share a house in Clapham. Tom Mapson, Jim McNabb.
49 Collard Road.
Avenue. How did you know?
I used to live there 30 years ago. I didn't know it was still going.
Maybe I should see the council about a plaque.
I'm counting.
So am I, too. Phil Renshaw, Bill Brand.
We've met at Journal Group. Hiya, Bill.
Hi. Bill, get hold of Larkin, will you? And ask him what time we can expect the PM. He did suggest 8, but it's his damned idea anyway.
Will do.
Good PPS. I should be sorry to lose him.
He is going, though.
Edna's done a deal with Watson for another Under-Secretary. Social Security. November. Well, you're clearly not going to ask, so, it's yours if you want it.
Oh, I think so.
Well, think it over. I shall need to know by the end of the week.
Thanks.
You thank me when you've done the job for a month. There's one small problem. It's in my gift. Technically, I can offer it without reference, but in practice, it has to be approved by the PM, which is why you're here tonight, so that he can put his eye over you before your name hits his desk. Now, if you are seriously considering acceptance, you'd be as well to maintain a fairly low profile this evening.
Damn. And I left my invisible pills back at the hotel.
Oh, don't worry. I always carry a spare pack.
Even so, I can assume, can I, that the main event of the evening will not be the long-awaited meeting between Watson and Brand, however momentous that encounter may come to seem to future historians.
Oh, I think you can safely assume that.
Yes. I don't see the Minister of Defence.
No, he's on holiday. In Spain.
I've tracked him down. He's in reception, once a what.
Oh, right.
Hey, what a surprise.
Me? Darling of the leadership. I suppose you're wearing your NEC hat.
Saw you on the box again.
What was that?
Textile workers demo. Was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there.
It's all right. It was only a long shot. I really had to peer.
What are you on about?
I know why you're here. Has he offered?
Yeah.
So, he wants the royal assent from Watson.
And a more common assent from me.
Well, you chose a great week to be vetted.
Listen, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
Come meet some of the others. Do you know the General Secretary? Tom, I'd like you to meet a very good friend of mine. Tom Wiltshire, Bill Brand.
Ah, nice to know you, Bill.
Hello.
You'll know Malcolm Freer.
Yes, our paths have crossed. Hi.
Okay.
Good.
You're putting the textile resolution, aren't you?
Wednesday.
You heard the NEC were asking for it to be remitted.
Yeah, I heard.
You've got support for it on the executive. You could do worse than leave it with us.
Well, we'll have to see. I don't honestly think the others would wear it. Bunch of real roughnecks. They eat MPs for dinner with a pint of bitter and a pickle on a plate.
Come and say hello to Willie. Excuse us.
Oh, for sure. We didn't explore that out this morning, didn't you? The NEC.
Gideon Bible. Seen a few of them in my time. How are you? Willie Moores, Transport and Allied.
Hello. Bill Brand.
Lely, yes? I've had a few reports. All good. Frank Hilton?
Yes, he's a good comrade.
Can you spare a minute? David wants a word.
Let's have a drink.
Yes. Yes. How's it come?
How'd the demo go this morning?
Pretty effective.
Lots of my lads there. Doesn't get any better, does it?
Better? Doesn't even get worse more slowly.
Right.
Would you mind if I talk conference for a minute?
Make it two.
I wondered if you'd decided yet how to cast your vote on the textile composite. 26 tomorrow.
My delegation meets tomorrow morning. Can't say I remember it exactly.
What do you think?
Yes, I remember it now. Makes a good read.
Better than the Gideon Bible?
Almost as long. The textile union backing you? No, I thought not. You think you know better than them?
I'm not alone. You saw the demonstration.
Demonstration? What's the NEC got to say?
What? They want it withdrawn, remitted.
Well, I'll see what my delegation thinks. We do have a resolution of our own to think about.
I'll do a deal with you. You vote for mine, I'll vote for yours. Can't say fairer.
That's some deal, brother. Where'd they train you? Chicago?
Okay. Terribly sorry, Willie. Arthur's going to be a little late. Only suggested that we send us a...
That's all right by me. Bill here's keeping me amused.
Oh, great. Shall we take the table then? Oh, Tom, would you mind leaving after the PM? If you wouldn't mind sitting...
All right, then. I was only a kid. But that was my introduction to politics. 2 bob pieces in their fists. Every punch took a slice. And the coppers just standing around watching us. For every fascist they arrested, they took 10 of us. Halcyon days. We learned fast, though. Trouble was, we couldn't afford the technology. Had to make do with pennies. No edge, see?
Don't be so romantic, Willie.
What are you talking about? I'm giving you the facts. Am I right, David?
Oh, absolutely. Though in my part of the world...
Hampstead,
we had a better class of fascists.
Naturally.
They used 10 bob notes. OK, Phil. Hors d'oeuvres over. Now for the meat.
I've got a feeling I shouldn't be here.
Last knows what he's doing.
Yeah?
You think you're here just for Watson to put his eye on. You're here to see some dealings. Last wants to see how you respond.
Jeffrey, I think it's best if you go and pick Lucy up from the Norbreck Castle. Go now. You know Stan, of course. He has eaten. Prime Minister. Well, here we are then. Sorry, I got held up. Is this me, David?
Yes,
Sorry. Right, thank you. Sit down. Apologies, Willie. How are you?
Oh, fine, Arthur. You?
Oh, never better. Tom. Malcolm. Winifred.
Bill Brand.
Oh, yes. Nice of you to turn out for my reception committee this morning. Whose idea was the eggs?
I don't honestly know. I argued against them. I think some of the lads wanted them hard-boiled.
Bloody disgrace. Another soup for the cleaners. Enjoy your fling while it lasts.
Will you eat, Arthur?
Oh, nothing heavy, thank you, David. I tell you what I wouldn't mind. No pickled onion.
Phil.
Did you bring the pickled onions?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, we'll find nothing.
Oh, thank you. And a bottle of ale, eh? Now then, Willie, what are we going to do about this resolution of yours?
I hope we're going to pass it, Arthur.
You think that's likely, Tom?
Well, that's up to conference, Prime Minister.
Oh, yes, yes. Conference. But the NEC oppose it, don't they?
Not all of us, Arthur.
Oh, I didn't expect you to, Winifred.
Well, the NEC will ask for it to be remitted so that it can be examined more closely and costed.
Thank you. How about the engineers?
Hard to say. They meet tomorrow.
I think they'll like it.
We've had 2 full-scale defence reviews since we came back, Willie. We've clawed the best part of 1,000 millions out of the services, but it's not a bottomless pool. There's no way to get any more just now.
My resolution says there is.
By withdrawing from NATO? That isn't a possibility, Willie.
Well, I'll tell you something else that isn't a possibility, Arthur. My 1 3/4 million members being thrown out of work. Or working for peanuts during your elasticated period of severe restraint. You've got to find the money somewhere. You've got to find it soon.
The money isn't there. We need another year. Talk to the Chancellor.
My members will be talking to the Chancellor next month. Fairly emphatically, I should imagine.
Malcolm, tell Willie what effect, for example, a 4-week dock strike would have on our trade account now.
A 4-week strike in the
You're better
docks.
off reading that out at the next cabinet meeting.
David, what would it mean in terms of unemployment?
I think it would depend what form it took. And what action you took to combat it.
Yeah. We could set us back 5 years, Willie. More.
I'm sorry, Arthur, but you can't go on squeezing the people who put you there in the first place.
Oh, squeezing every section. Top and bottom. You know that.
Oh, come on now, Arthur.
I suspect Willie would feel a deal happier if he could feel certain we would still be holding the reins beyond the autumn.
Autumn? What's the autumn got to do with it? Oh, you mean these election rumours? Ah.
I think David's put his finger on it. The Tories have all but promised an immediate wage freeze the moment they get back. I can't see my members running the risk of letting that happen without getting in first with a substantial wage claim. There's no chance. It might help if you could settle this election issue this week.
You've been reading too many Tory papers, Willie. Theakston's? It's Newcastle, isn't it?
It's North Riding.
Is it? I must remember that. Tell you what, Willie. Lucy will be back by now. Why don't you slip up and have a nightcap and say hello, eh? She's got one of these William Morris tray cloths she wants you to give to Elsie.
Fine.
Right.
Let's do that.
Well, nice to have seen you all. Sorry I couldn't join you earlier. Tom, Malcolm, slip up and have a little chat later on, will you? Give us an hour or so. You know.
All right, Arthur.
No rest for the wicked, Stanley. Night.
Bye, David.
I have a bit of work to do in my room, David. Thank you for the supper.
Well, nice to see you again, Tom. Sorry we didn't have much of a chance for a chat.
I'll go off as well, I think, David. I had a coat somewhere.
Yes, it'll be in the vestibule, I suppose.
How about that textile resolution? The executive really do want to look at it. If you insist on putting it as it stands, the platform will have to oppose, and that would be a pity. Sleep on it, eh?
Theakston's? That's Newcastle, isn't it?
If you're not careful, he'll take you on himself, just to stop you correcting him in public.
That'll be the day.
Drink, anyone? Jesus Christ.
Am I finished for the evening?
Stay. Have a drink.
Small Scotch.
That was Martin. He's got the revised unemployment figures for the last month. They're 6,500 worse than we said. He wants to know, shall he release them now or hold them over till perhaps
Now.
we can... Are you sure?
Now.
Okay, I'll ring him back. Winnie, there's a message at reception for you.
Fine.
I'll turn in David, if that's okay.
Ring Martin. Okay?
Okay.
Good night.
Take it easy. Night, Bill.
Take care.
Grizzly?
Oh, yes.
You liked him?
He's a ghoul.
It doesn't have to be this.
Doesn't it?
That was Tom Mapson's sister. He's had a heart attack.
Oh, Jesus.
He's in the Royal Infirmary. Look, I think I better drive over and see him.
I'll come with you.
No, don't do that. Look, you've got your resolution first thing in the morning. I'll ring you when I have news.
You have my number? It's 281.
Yes, I have it. Oh, God.
Win, give my regards and drive carefully. Okay? Winnie.
Yeah?
I think I'm off.
Bill, I've asked Win. I'm asking you. Don't tell anyone about Tom Mapson. Not tonight, anyway.
I don't understand. I mean...
I think it's better if Watson doesn't hear. Until tomorrow, anyway.
Watson?
Bill! Watson floated these election rumours himself. Oh, way back in the summer. It's an old tactic. He's used it before. Still works. But right now, he's up there with Willie Moores, letting himself be persuaded that he shouldn't be calling an autumn election that he's no intention of calling anyway. And in return, Willie Moores and the rest of them, oh, this won't be his only meeting, they'll promise to moderate their demands for the winter. The unions know well enough what life under the Tories would be like. What's Tom's majority? 2,000?
It's 1,400.
He's got to do the deal first. He's got to give his pledge there'll be no election.
Is that what's most important, then?
Yes. Listen. If we lose office now, this party will break up. It isn't the time. Not yet.
About the job...
Oh, leave it. Talk about that before you leave.
What's your advice about the resolution I'm putting tomorrow?
Do what you have to. Bill?
Now, in the industry debate, the radical and critical composite resolution to be moved by the delegate from Lely, Mr. Bill Brand, MP. Mr. Brand is a relative newcomer whose record to date, both in the House and out, has won him few friends in the Labour leadership. Though whether this causes Mr. Brand any particular
Anything
concern
from Willie Moores yet?
is merest speculation.
Bill Brand, Lely CLP. Comrades, I want to deal with Composite 26 in a moment. I want to say one thing first, though. When this debate is over, somebody up there on the high table is going to stand up and ask me to withdraw it. Of course. That's not the word they'll use. They'll ask for it to be referred to a committee which will report on its findings in time for next year's conference. Well, I have this to say to that, comrades. The problems of the textile industry are too catastrophic to be kept hanging around for yet another year, because in a year's time, there will be no textile industry left for the NEC to report back on.
What does it remind me of?
Give me a clue.
So I give my answer to the high table in advance of the question, and the answer is no. This composite will be put, and conference will decide, not the executive committee, whether it should become party policy.
Hello. He's right here. PM.
Hello, Arthur. Yes, I'm watching. James Cagney? Oh, that's very good, Arthur, yes. Well, it is a composite, Arthur. Not other people involved.
It's an idea that's been floating around in the NEC and in the cabinet rooms.
Yes, I can hear.
Yet, what have they done about it?
Oh, fine, fine.
As far as the textile industry is concerned, this Labour government
Yes.
has become the masters of the textile.
Yes, I read about it in the papers this morning.
We can have anything
I don't think it's as bad as they make out, you know, Arthur. No, Tom's a leathery old so-and-so, you know.
now.
Mm. Uh-huh.
All party debates,
Well, we've been there before, Arthur.
inquiries, detailed examinations,
Fine. We'll do.
a whole catalogue of concern, but action,
You said yes to Brand.
yes. Nothing at all.
Prefers him quiet.
You did it. You bastard! You Sodom, you did! You got it through! Right! How did you do it, man?
A silver heart of gold.
3.5 million!
Right! As I've said, comrade delegates, there can be no cant talked about creating a caring and compassionate society when a Labour government is slashing thousands of millions of pounds of essential social services, health, education, welfare, pensions. When a Labour government is striking with its ever-expanding period of severe restraint, on wages, of course, not places. When a Labour government is striking at the very heart of working-class living standards, and when a Labour government is apparently content to see 1.5 million workers out of a job as a deliberate instrument of economic, or rather treasury, policy. I want this conference to tell our government to get on with its job, which is to advance the health and well-being of the working people of this land. The people who create the national cake in the first place. And so, comrade delegates, in view of assurances received from the platform and elsewhere, we're prepared to withdraw this resolution in its present and particular form, in the confident belief and expectation that this government can and will rally the whole country behind it on a program of full social justice and redistribution of wealth away from the rich and the idle and towards the wealth-creating masses we're all of us here to represent. I so move.
Hold it there, Tony. Fine. You all right, Mike? Okay.
Say what you like about the Prime Minister, and most people do. He's not short of supporters here in this hall today.
Now's his chance. Let us all in on the secret.
A fine conference. A cabinet election.
Autumn election.
Talked hard and thought hard. Where we faced the world and its problems without flinching. A conference worthy of this great party of ours. But let me, before I proceed, set one little contentious matter straight. I mean, just for the record, you understand. And the Mail and the Express and the Sun and all the rest of the moaning minute. Rumour has it that your Prime Minister is considering an election in the autumn. Let me tell the country and the world at large, unequivocally and in words of one syllable, there will be no election this autumn. This government was elected by the people of this land, the people, mind, not the press or the other media, to do a job. And we are going to see it through. All right? We were elected on the policies we proclaimed with total clarity in our manifesto. And we were elected because the people in Britain recognized the nature and depth of the challenge we face as a nation. They realize that the going from now on will be tougher than we have known in this generation. They recognize that this national challenge cannot be met by confrontation and divisive conflict, but only by comradeship, cooperation, and care and concern. Our mandate is still with us.
Hi. Still on, is he?
As the going gets tougher and tougher up the hill, as it will.
You remember my agent, Alf Jarrett?
That in the words
Yes,
of the
hi.
old socialist story
Fine, thanks.
about the coach going uphill, the order must go out to the nation. Everybody who is able-bodied, regardless of rank or class, gets out and shouts. But if there are any among us who are unable to play their part, through illness, age, infancy, or disability, they, and they alone, are free to ride.
Go on, Pat.
Let me.
So?
Tell me one thing. Why did Willie Moores vote for my resolution?
I don't know. Perhaps he simply wanted to record one principled act in an otherwise thoroughly nasty week's dealing.
You don't believe that, do you?
No. No, I'm too tired to figure it out. He's after leverage somewhere. I just don't know what it is yet. I rule out spite as a motive. Just. I haven't answered.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Go well.
And you? Wind phone. Tom's still in danger. If he sees the weekend out, there's a 50-50 chance of pulling round.
Now I'll ask you to rise
Okay, boys, just a sing-song and that'll be a wrap.
And so another Labour Party conference comes to an end. One in which we've been led to expect serious dissension between left and right, between grassroots and leadership. And yet here we are again, the party intact, the government secure, and the Prime Minister very much in the driver's seat.